All right. Daily note session for Friday, January 17th price action, but it's being logged January 19th price action. And I'm going to just be chilling. Chilling while I do this because tomorrow is a big day. And tomorrow, this gentleman, where is it? This gentleman gets inaugurated into the presidency. So, you know, what are we going to expect? Who knows? He's a wild dude. All I remember was from when he was in the seat before, the markets were wild. Wild in a sense of like they would just sprint. Anytime you hear him on the news, he would just make confirmation that the economy is at its strongest, blase blage, and then the next day things would just go crazy. So I remember that. At that time, I was not an actual day trader, so I'm actually looking forward to the markets. I don't, whatever his beliefs are and all of that, I'm not into any of that. I'm more into what happens inside of the charts. So that's where my interest is. I don't have an opinion about Democrats or Republicans. I'm about figuring out my day to day and what affects me and what doesn't affect me, and paying my bills every day, like first of the month, because whoever's in office or not, they don't really they're not there with me while I'm making my payments. They do put things in effect that could potentially affect my growth in my finances and everything outside and the gas prices and all that type of stuff. So I do stay alert to those things. But other than that, my day to day doesn't switch. So this week, coming week, we have, let's take a peek. What's going on? We got this stuff going on right here. WEF, I have no idea what that is, but it is a bank holiday tomorrow. Then we have some more stuff on Tuesday with that same WEF. I guess it's world meetings or whatever. Then we have more stuff on Wednesday, more stuff on Thursday, and then here's where some volatility will come into the market. So I'm more towards Thursday and Friday. These couple days here, I'll just be chilling. Obviously, I will be engaging it, but not as much as like these 2 days right here. So that's what's coming up for the week. And then, you know, I've been doing a lot of silent notes, right? Before I unleash this. And the silent notes is just, I'm recording what I'm doing already. So whoever watches it, watches it. Whoever doesn't watch it, I really don't care. Like like I'm not on here to be a YouTube blah blah. Like I'm just documenting all these things so that I can just play it back on my phone while I'm out chilling, while I'm somewhere, and I just want to see some stuff. I have tons of videos to just come back and look at. Right now, once I unleash these drawings right here, I just want to get to the point of, notice how it's just, this thing just keeps repeating. We swing all the way high, then we come down, and then we come to about the halfway point. Then we go down, take that low, then we come back to the halfway point of this down drop. Then we're going to go back down again, take these lows over here, and then come back to the halfway point of that. So it's the same thing over and over. Whoop. It goes up, down, up, down, up, down, up. What's going to happen here? We got to see what this week is going to have in store, because we could come back down here into this little area here. And then based on what that decides to do, we could potentially come back down here, because now we have two relatively equal lows, and we have some nice lows down here that potentially towards the end of the month, it can start gearing up to going into that direction. So here we go. Real simple. The reality of this craft. It's not doing anything fancy. You just have to study it. Once you invest tons of hours into the craft, everything starts to look very familiar. And I spell everything wrong, but I'm leaving that like that. It's like when you buy a car, prior to buying it, you didn't see it. But now that you own it, you can't stop seeing it all over the place. So that's pretty much the best analogy that I can give you, is like, this is the same thing over and over. So I'm going to take some pictures while I do this. I just want to track the monthly right there. Boom. Then I want to just track the weekly. As we see the week open and expanded to the upside, a lot of volatility in that week right there. Now we're gonna go take a peek at the daily. Boom, take a picture of that. And this is the same things that I do every day, right? And I just like to do these candles right here because they show me the power of three. Open, drop, go up, and then close right there. Same here. Open, drop, go up, closed up here. So that's a good way to get familiar with the power of three. If you're familiar with the ICT concepts. Cool. All right. So what did the Friday candle do? Right here. Reacted off of this SIBI after coming down, taking sell side and reacting from this SIBI here. Price exploded to the upside there. Hit that little gap that I marked out because it left the like it was so clear for it to come to at least the 50% level, which it did, which is the halfway point of these drops, like I was explaining. Goes down, comes to the halfway point. Comes down, comes to the halfway point. Goes down, went to the halfway point. Then it went back down, hovered around here, and then Friday, it just went crazy, went ballistic, and boom, exploded to the upside, which was like there was no news, but the overnight session is really where the move happened. And as we drop into the lower time frames, you'll be able to see that in more details. So I'm gonna just make a quick note right here. What is that? 117.25 price action. Oh, my caps are on. Okay, let me turn them off. So the price open from the SIBI. And ran to the higher time, like that inversion up there. Slash like busy during the overnight session. So yeah, this is very boring. I'm not gonna lie to you. It is very boring, but making money in this market, you have to get it to that level to where it's boring. You don't want to get surprised by anything anymore. That's one thing that I learned. The mentor used to always say, yo, get it to the point where you're bored. And now I'm so bored of seeing this thing over and over, that when I'm jumping into my executions and stuff like that, I'm chilling. And when I get stopped out, cool, I leave it alone, come back the next day. Real simple. This gets boring. And even me, this me talking to you, if you're still here, this is boring. And you're not gonna sit around and chill because you wanna jump quick to the Lambos, to the Rolexes and all of that. And that's not really what it's about. It's about studying the craft and understanding what's going on up in here. So I don't wanna really get too crazy in here, simple. Left the bottom part open, bottom half open, showing bullishness. Yeah, I'll make that a little smaller. I'll make that 11, and then boom, right there. Boom, put this over here. Real simple, fill this in, laid a body to it, and then right there, closed underneath the midpoint. Take a picture of that. Once I get to my working charts, that's when I actually start to write more details. But I'm more, over here, I'm just like browsing through it because again, it's the same thing over and over, right? So here's that Wednesday. Here's Thursday, right? Thursday comes down, whoop, drops into this little area here, this area in particular here, and then explodes to the upside on the Asian session. Just boom, 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 all the way to the upside. Picture of that. Now let's go to a 1 hour. That's my son playing video games, just in case you hear him in the background. If you're still tuned in, which you're probably not. So you see this little imbalance right here and this one over here. Keeping an eye on that. price came right to it, boom, right to the upside, explodes. So it ran right through that little imbalance on the higher time frame, ran down, took some lows into the imbalance, and then boom, let's lay a body across it. Let's balance this out correctly. Now let's go to the 15. So see the overnight session, it was just, boom, boom, pushing. And then here's where Friday right here, like around 8 a.m. is when it went crazy. Just boom, 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 boom. And you'll see it on a different chart on how. Let me just save that and let me go here. And let me explode this. 15, here it is, right? So huge opening range gap right here. Because this is where price previously closed on Thursday, and then it didn't even come back down to the midpoint of it. It came up to the upper quad and then just expanded to the upside, like below the upper quad. Take a picture of that. Yeah, so basically these black lines are an imbalance. That's where price came up to. And that's why I labeled it like that. It went right into that imbalance, which was pretty much just this single high right here. If we go on the 1 hour, look at the imbalance right there as well. But we'll keep it on a 15. Then like the bell session, let me just put the bell session here. I believe 9:30 is this one. It just dropped and then price was just very sloppy inside here. Not doing anything too special. It was a lot of manual intervention because there was no actual news. So look at these, how when price closed on Thursday, this is the midnight opening range gap. Price came down a little bit, boom, into this little imbalance, then pushed up to the upside, consolidated, and then just boom. These new week opening gaps that are right here on the side is what was drawing price up towards that direction. So it just drew it, and then it went into that little imbalance, failed to go higher, came back, failed again, and then just started to reverse a little bit. But there's more new week opening gaps. Right? There's one more up here. I think that's pretty much it. And then we'll see today, Sunday, where this thing opens up and where it wants to go from there. So I'm going to go down to a 1 minute. Like I said, everything happened overnight, so I really didn't care what was going on here during the morning session. Just look at how sloppy this was. Price opened, and then obviously it came down, but I kind of didn't trust that much. And then boom, just consolidated in this area. Just very sloppy. Nothing happened. Even inside the macros, nothing crazy was going on. It was just horrible. I don't even want to document any of my macros just because it was bad. Look at the 950 macro, right? Starts right here on this candle and it ends right here at 1010. Boom. Nothing crazy. Just came down a little bit and then pushed up. No clean sprints, like how I like to say. I knew this is where price wanted to come to. You could believe that or not, but it was just not giving me that sign. And I wanted it to come up here and then reverse back down here and do this. But they did it later, and that was towards the first full hour of trading. Swept the low here, fails to come down here, and then explodes back up there, which was how many points? A nice 154 points. Beautiful. So this was the only clean move in the morning session that I actually see. But I had something to do and I left it alone. And the way it was reacting to the first fair value gap, I kind of didn't like that. It wasn't really showing me anything, and I was not anticipating it coming down here to even attempt to reach the opening range gap fill. To fill it completely, I was not expecting that at all. Just because, as we've been taught, when we see a large move like this in the overnight session and you have a large opening gap, which this is, I'm going to just take a peek. This was almost a $450 opening range gap to the upside. So don't expect it to to like come back down immediately, expect the same behavior. And that's pretty much what you got. It just, you know, hovered around these highs. Didn't really do much. So, you know, that's that. Like I said, I already know what I'm looking for, so I don't want to get too crazy with my pictures and all of that. I'm going to just take a picture of this right here on the 1 minute chart just to have it for my files. But just notice how over here, the midnight, it just dropped right here, 2:30. And I just want to see at 3:30 what happened. Right to the upside, which is that London. 3:30 is around this area here. Comes down. Boop, right there. Comes down to the midnight open and then just explodes like to the upside, but consolidates a lot of consolidation. Consolidation comes down here on the New York session, and then that's what really pushed it to the upside. Like it was just nonstop bullishness all the way up to that high. So that's it for me. I'm satisfied. And like I said, I'm not really like, we need more data pretty much. And this is the same thing over and over, over and over, over and over. Make a low come up, make a low come up, make a low come up, low come up, low come back up and get all this stuff up here. All right, we're going to go low to get all of these lows in this area. Boom. And then look at this. After it made that huge price drop. So look, it didn't even come back to that Monday low. Boom. Respected it and then just blew up. Then here, it took this low right here, which was from Wednesday's 9:30 a.m. session. Comes down, takes it, and then bang, run it to the upside. So pretty much just stopping out. There's still work. Whoever's like in shorts from up here, they're working. Whoever hasn't like rolled their stop, they're taking them out. And then as far as like even longs, whoever's went long from these areas here, they're taking them out as well. So it's a tricky game that they play, and you kind of got to know right now who's in profit right now. Longs are in profit because they stopped out a lot of these shorts, whoever's rolled their stops. So eventually we're going to come back down to these areas again. It's just already programmed to do that. When? I don't know. If we're going to keep going higher, who knows? Are we going to touch the all-time high again, which is up here? I have no clue. But that's pretty much it for me. You know, I'm going to just go on about my business. But again, if you're still here at 18 minutes into the video, this is the same thing over and over. And it gets really, really, really boring. And that's what you want. You want to get bored of seeing the same thing. You don't want to get excited or none of that. Pure boredom. So, take care. Peace.